The news has caught many royal watchers by surprise. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have confirmed that they will be travelling to Australia next month for a mix of private, business and philanthropic engagements. For supporters around the world, this announcement carries a sense of history repeating itself in the best possible way. Because the last time the Duke and Duchess of Sussex toured Australia back in 2018, the reception was electric. Crowds filled the streets, people lined up for hours, and the trip quickly became one of the most memorable royal tours in recent history. At that time, Meghan was newly married into the royal family and pregnant with Prince Archie. The warmth and excitement that greeted them showed how deeply people connected with the couple's energy and authenticity. Now, nearly a decade later, they are returning under very different circumstances. They are no longer working royals. They have built independent careers. They are raising their children in the United States. And the global conversation around monarchy itself has evolved. But that does not mean the excitement has disappeared. In fact, this visit represents something even more interesting. It is an opportunity to see how Harry and Meghan operate on the global stage as independent figures who are still deeply committed to service and philanthropy. Unlike traditional royal tours organised through palace structures, this trip reflects their own priorities and partnerships. That alone signals a shift in how public influence works in the modern era. Royal journalist Tom Sykes suggested that the Sussexes could become lightning rods in Australia's ongoing debate about the monarchy and the country's constitutional future. It is true that Australia has long had an active discussion about whether it should remain a constitutional monarchy or eventually become a republic. The debate is not new. It has been part of Australia's political conversation for decades. Yet the presence of Harry and Meghan adds a fascinating dimension to that discussion. They represent both connection and change. Harry remains the son of King Charles III, which naturally links him to the institution of monarchy. But he and Meghan have also carved out a path that reflects independence, modern values, and global engagement. That combination resonates with many people who see the world shifting away from rigid traditions toward more flexible and personal forms of leadership. Some commentators have suggested that the couple will need thick skins when they arrive. But if the last several years have proven anything, it is that Harry and Meghan already have them. They have faced relentless scrutiny since stepping back from royal duties. They have endured intense media attention, criticism, and speculation. And through all of it, they have continued to build projects centered on storytelling, philanthropy, and community impact. By the time they land in Australia, the idea that they might face mixed reactions is unlikely to surprise them. They understand that public life involves both admiration and criticism. But it is also important to remember that Australia has always had a special connection with Harry. He has visited the country many times over the years, both during his military service and through charitable initiatives. Australians often appreciate his relaxed personality, his humour, and his openness. And when Meghan joined him in 2018, many people saw the couple as a refreshing new chapter for the royal family. Their ability to connect with everyday people stood out immediately. Whether it was chatting with families in crowds or engaging with community leaders, they approached the tour with a sense of warmth that felt genuine rather than scripted. That authenticity is something supporters believe will resonate again this time. The upcoming visit is expected to include a combination of business meetings, philanthropic engagements, and private commitments. While the exact itinerary has not yet been confirmed, sources suggest that more details will be released in the coming weeks. That leaves plenty of room for speculation about what the couple might focus on during their time in Australia. Given their track record, it would not be surprising to see them engage with organisations working on mental health, youth empowerment, environmental sustainability, and veterans support. These causes have been central to Harry and Meghan's work for years. Harry's dedication to supporting veterans is well known. His creation of the Invictus Games transformed the conversation around wounded service members and adaptive sports. Meghan has long focused on issues related to women's empowerment, community development and education. Together, they have built a platform that merges advocacy with storytelling and global partnerships. Australia also holds personal memories for the couple. The 2018 tour was one of their first major international appearances after their wedding. It allowed them to experience the power of connecting with communities outside the traditional royal spotlight. Many of the images from that trip remain iconic. Crowds cheering, Meghan speaking with young students, Harry sharing laughs with local families. Those moments captured something powerful about the couple's dynamic. They were approachable, energetic, and genuinely engaged. Returning now as independent figures adds a new layer to that story. Instead of representing the monarchy officially, they are representing their own mission and values. And that freedom allows them to shape their engagements in ways that align directly with the work they care about most. Another question many observers have raised is whether Archie and Princess Lilibet will join their parents on the trip. At the moment, that remains uncertain. Archie is 6 years old and Lilibet is 4. Which means international travel requires careful planning around schedules, schooling and security. The couple have consistently prioritised protecting their children's privacy, so it would not be surprising if they chose to keep the family aspect of the trip low-key. Regardless of whether the children attend, the visit will still carry emotional significance. For Harry especially, returning to Australia is often described as coming back to a place where he feels a sense of connection and familiarity. The country has long embraced him with a warmth that reflects the shared cultural ties between Australia and the United Kingdom. Even as debates about constitutional arrangements continue, many Australians still appreciate the individuals within the royal family on a personal level. That distinction is important. People can question the structure of monarchy while still welcoming individuals who use their platforms to support positive causes. And Harry and Meghan have consistently shown that their focus is on impact rather than titles. Their philanthropic foundation continues to support initiatives related to mental health, digital safety, and humanitarian work around the world. Their media projects aim to highlight stories that inspire empathy and understanding. And their public appearances often centre on listening to communities rather than delivering scripted speeches. All of these qualities make their upcoming trip intriguing. Instead of following the traditional royal playbook, the Sussexes are writing their own. That independence has become a defining characteristic of their journey. Some critics frame it as controversial. Supporters see it as courageous. What cannot be denied is that Harry and Meghan remain two of the most recognisable public figures in the world. Wherever they go, conversations follow. When they visit Australia next month, those conversations will likely include debates about monarchy, reflections on their personal story, and excitement about the causes they champion. But beyond the headlines, the most meaningful moments will probably be the ones that happen quietly. The conversations with community leaders, the meetings with organisations doing important work, the connections with people whose lives are directly impacted by the issues Harry and Meghan care about. Those moments rarely dominate news cycles, yet they often leave the deepest impressions. In many ways, this trip represents the evolution of the Sussex brand. They are no longer bound by palace protocol. They are global advocates who choose their own engagements and shape their own message. Australia will simply be the latest chapter in that ongoing story. And if history is any guide, the reception may be far warmer than some commentators predict. Because while debates about monarchy continue, the human connection Harry and Meghan bring to their work tends to transcend those divisions. People respond to authenticity. They respond to sincerity. They respond to individuals who show up not just for ceremonies, but for conversations. Harry and Meghan have built their public lives around that philosophy. As the countdown to their arrival begins, anticipation is building. Will crowds gather again as they did in 2018? Will new partnerships emerge from their meetings? Will the trip spark fresh conversations about the role of modern public figures in a changing world? Those questions will soon be answered. But one thing is already clear. Nearly a decade after their first tour captured global attention, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain just as capable of drawing interest, sparking dialogue, and inspiring supporters around the world. And when they step onto Australian soil next month, they will do so not simply as former working royals, but as independent voices continuing to shape their own path on the global stage.